Hello Dairy Today viewers, on behalf of the Market 360 advisors here at Stewart-Peterson, I'm Bob Devenport, and this is your Dairy Week in Review for April 11th, 2014. So let's start out with taking a look at where our CME dairy components settled at the conclusion of Friday's trade. There's actually quite a bit of red on the board as far as dairy products go this week, with blocks settling at $2.17 even, down 18 cents. Barrels settled at $2.08 even, down 14.5 cents on the week. Cash butter was a little bit quieter, staying at $1.97 even here this week, unchanged. May whey settled at around $64.75, down just 0.6 cents on the week, and May non-fat dry milk settled at about $187.5, down about 1.5 cents this week. So going over to Class 3 futures, the May contract was down 46 cents this week, settling at $21.50. June settled at $20.05, down 51 cents. And our 2014 average continues to take a little bit of a hit here, going all the way down to $20.66 at the conclusion of this week, selling off 27 cents. So let's take a look at our weekly block barrel average chart here. As you can see here, there's been quite a bit of damage done in cash cheese here over the past 3 weeks. So this does mark our third down week in a row after seeing this weekly bearish reversal 3 weeks ago. And you can see this big gap here and just how much we were down here this week. Over the course of the past 3 weeks, the sellers have really re-emerged here and started offering quite a few loads of blocks and barrels here this week. They were, for the most part, absent here as we went through this run-up over these big gains that we saw over the course of about 5 weeks. The sellers largely held to the sidelines. Now that they've jumped back in, they've pushed prices down quite a bit here. Now this was the biggest loss we've seen in quite a while now this week, with the block barrel average down 16.25 cents here. And there still could be possibly a little bit more room to the downside yet if we continue to see that selling pressure, which could also continue to put some more pressure on Class 3 prices. So let's jump over to our Class 3 second month contract chart here. Currently the May contract, and this is a daily chart of the May milk contract. Now as you can see here, we did top out here last week just for the short term here, and last week, Friday, if you recall, we were limit down, and since we put in that contract high at $22.72 for May last week, we're down $1.50 about off of that high now. And just this week alone here, we did sell off another 46 cents, but we did chop sideways a little bit near the end of this week. There was actually some bidding in cash during today's session, which really helped to support Class 3, and we did take back some of the losses from yesterday. So we could be looking at a little bit of a rebound here, maybe back towards these highs before possibly another push lower, but it does seem that the Class 3 market is experiencing a correction at this time. And as you can see, going all the way back to August here when this sharp rally began, we haven't really seen much of a pullback at all. This was about the biggest we saw, and we more or less just chopped sideways for a little bit. So the fact that we have pulled back about $1.50 here isn't too concerning, because for the most part fundamentals are still supportive, and generally just in a bull market trend such as this, you always are going to see a technical correction at least play out like that. So if that's the case, it shouldn't be too concerning at this point. What you do need to watch out for is any signals that maybe the longer term trend is shifting, that you can see a bigger sell-off here. But at this point, just the pullback that we've seen, it seems like this market has been overdue for a move like this. So going over to some fundamentals here, we got our February dairy export numbers recently, and it did show that total dairy exports continue to remain strong, up 18% on a year-over-year basis. However, we were down 1% from January, and that continues that seasonal decline that we've been seeing here. Now, cash butter was the biggest loser on a month-over-month basis, down 11%. However, butter exports are still up 92% versus February of last year, so still a lot of strength there. Now, cheese exports were up 44% year over year. Now, powder exports were a little bit concerning here. They were only up 3% on a year-over-year basis, whereas leading up to this month, powder exports were really one of the strong leaders, up double digits, up almost 100% year-over-year in a couple of months. So the fact that we're only up 3% could be maybe a sign that prices have gone up enough that maybe demand is dropping off a little bit now. But aside from that, the rest of the dairy products exports remain very strong here, which should continue to be supportive to milk prices overall. So taking a look now again at our dairy exports from a different standpoint, this shows total dairy exports on a yearly basis. Each one of these different colors represents a different year, going all the way back to 2008. Now, as you can see, we did put in this high back in May of 2013, and since then we've been trending lower, and we're down here in the beginning of 2014 just on that month-over-month basis. But you can see just how high we are up now from the beginning of where 2013 was at all the way down here. And you can see by looking back the past few years that the decline that we've been seeing from that May high is more or less of just a seasonal move lower. So there really isn't any concern here of seeing a huge drop off, because it is that seasonal pattern. But we are to the point now where you can see where these colors change here. We generally tend to be near a seasonal low where the year changes. So if we are going to see that seasonal pattern, I'd say over the next month or two, meaning when we get March or April's numbers, we should hopefully see a healthy increase actually in dairy exports. Looking at the week ahead now, it's a quiet week as far as fundamental reports go. The week after will be have a lot more going on, but next week we'll just have a dairy product sales report out on Wednesday. That'll do it for us here this week. On behalf of the Market 360 advisors here at Stewart-Peterson, thank you for watching and have a great weekend.